Okay, our group is conformed by Alejandra Miranda Alarcón, Luisa Fernanda Potes Libreros, and Freddy Alejandro Bautista Dorado, and we choose Starbucks. Starbucks is an international coffee chain founded in Washington. It is the largest coffee company in the world with more than 24,000 stores in 70 countries. Starbucks sells processed coffee, hot drinks, and other beverages in addition to snacks and some other products, such as cups, thermos, and coffee beans. In Colombia, they have 23 locales in Bogotá, Medellín, and Cali. About the products of Starbucks, we find Frappuccino is a beverage created by Starbucks, refreshing drinks that are based on fruit. Teas, they offer a variety of teas, and coffee that will be hot or ice cream. Now we are going to talk about the analysis of Starbucks with the investor. Was initial meant political, economic, social, technological, environment, and legal parts.
In the coffee sector, international standards emanate from the International Coffee Organizations, a body that is part of the United Nations Organization and which focuses on the International Coffee Agreement. The main objective is to balance the supply and demand of the product, reduce as much as possible the surplus grain, encourage consumption, among others. Policies of demand about the sensitization with the environment and with the non-use of chemical products, which is demonstrated by the growing interest of the consumers for the products coming from the organic production. Along with this, an important norm corresponds to the labeling of the coffee with its respective nutritional information. Since as this is a product brought from the abroad, the product must comply with the regulation norms in each country.
As to the economic factors that influence the arrival of the largest multinational in the world in coffee, Starbucks can denote that. With the arrival of Starbucks in 2014 and this projection of the future, the company took on the challenge of opening 50 stores in Colombian capital, with which it would generate approximately 1,000 formal jobs, which would denote a small reduction in the employment rate that displayed in fact that at the end of 2018 it was in one digit. It was currently at the 10.8%. Taking into account the inflation factor according to the Diners magazine, annual inflation reached 3.01% in February of 2019, denoting a rise in consumer prices by 0.57%. However, the variation for non-alcoholic drinks was 0.23%. The previous thing makes us denote that although of the prices increase to the consumer, they can still access various products, which in this case is reflected in the company Starbucks. from which they can continue to consume their products without having any mishap, because the variation is not very reflected in the prices. Also, it should be noted that although the world's largest coffee multinational Starbucks arrived in Colombia in 2014, the opening of BVI stores making reference to Tostado in the Colombian market in 2017 unleashed that somehow there was a war in largest coffee chains in Colombia such as Oma and Juan Valdez. However, the dynamics between brands has been growing. They work together and freely to give a good consumer service. The competition is great, managed to capture various types of taste and people according to their service and how they are sold to the market. In conclusion, the various economic aspects affect the fact that the multinational Starbucks is in the country? Yes, but it is not a reason for lower their sales or stop providing their service here. Conversely, they were well received in the country, since it allows a high movement in the economy by increasing the per capita consumption of coffee and clearly of the national economy, more considering that is national coffee, it is not imported coffee. According to figures from the National Federation of Coffee Growers, the departments with the highest coffee consumption are Bogotá, Valle, Antioquia, Atlántico, Bolívar, and Cundinamarca. Therefore, Starbucks could carry out a market opening strategy, through which is paying the opening of stores to cities and belong to two departments. In the same way, studies indicate that the coffee drinker in Colombia it is a mainly of medium and low socioeconomic status, but that in recent years has increased its expansion by the high and medium strata. So for Starbucks is a good data since the people who access their service are people from the middle socioeconomic stratum upwards. The level of education that usually consumes more coffee is a university education followed by high school. So Starbucks could open new premises in university areas. It was also found that the age of coffee consumers is concentrated in the group of people from 25 to 39 years of age according to the studies. However, reasons were found for why many people don't consume coffee, of which the most representative were by medical recommendation, because they don't like in terms of digestion, because it causes them insomnia, and because it speeds up the nervous system. However, it is training to approximate health professionals, but doctors, as nutritionalists, and mass media communicators that allow to demonstrate and communicate to society about the benefits of coffee for health, taking into account that various specific investigations have been carried out that they allow demonstrating various benefits of coffee. As for the taste that Colombian society presents, it made coffee, it really is very high percentage. Since their culture, habits, and traditions make coffee one of the national drinks, and therefore the Starbucks market in relation to coffee is not a risk.
The technological environment of Starbucks helps them to now throw technology more to their clients and facilitates their works with machinery. Starbucks is always being updated to have better production and better service.
As a cultural heritage of humanity and a product with a great relevance for our economic consumption, there are important environmental aspects that are relevant for using coffee on any production process, and they are regulated by the laws like the Law 9 of 1979, which establishes and regulates the use of water in the production process to prevent contamination. The Decree 1791 of 1996 establishes the forest use regime, which demands the accreditation of the capacity to guarantee the efficiency on the use and transformation in the process of forest exploitation. Colombia also signed the Kyoto Protocol to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which commits Colombia to promote sustainable agricultural modalities to reduce tax incentives and tax exemptions that do not contribute to the convention objectives, and to create laws that promote the reduction of greenhouse gases. The infringement of any of these laws can lead to the closure of the establishment according to the Law 1333 of 2009. Coffee is one of the most important products for Colombia's economy, being that it is a daily consumed product by Colombian people, and it is one of its most exported products. So, according to the Law 76 of 1931, products sold as coffee in Colombia that contain some other substance should mention the percentage of coffee they contain on the envelopment, and the sale of products with the name of coffee that contain less than 90% of coffee in its preparation is forbidden. There is also necessary for the coffee to have any symbol of geographical indication that represents the link between the quality of the product and its origin, so that the product is protected by unfair competition laws, like the Law 256 of 1996, and the quality of the product is guaranteed to the consumer. Law 9 of 1979 also regulates the aspects of occupational health and establishes the duties of employers so that the health of workers is preserved and enhanced, and any damage is prevented. About food handling, Decree 3075 of 1997 regulates the health status and the capacitation of the workers, and the Resolution 5109 of 2005 establishes the labeling requirements for packaged food. Starbucks is contributing to the Plan 2030 because it has a support center that provides coffee farmers with resources and experience that can help lower production costs, reduce pest disease, improve coffee quality, and increase premium coffee crops. And with the support of the National Federation of Coffee Growers of Colombia, Starbucks aims to improve the lives of local farmers, their families, and communities, while reducing the environmental impact of coffee growing activities in the region.
Finally, Our point of view for Starbucks in Colombia is that it would be a very profitable and feasible business due to the economic, social, political, and also a cultural gap that is constantly changing. We take into account the points that are already here in Bogota, which are a total success, taking into account also that Colombia is a coffee producer and being here save many costs. For that we already mentioned it. We would like to invest in this business.